This year, I'm wanting to do more casual videos where I can just sit down in front of my camera with minimal editing and just talk to y'all. I have a cup of tea in my hands. This particular tea I'm very proud of. My parents have a tea brand called Kojetti Tea, and they make all kinds of blends. This one is beet tea, hibiscus tea, and lemongrass in a blend. And it's really good. It has a splash of agave in it, and it's delicious. So let's talk. Where have I been? Locationally, where in the world am I right now? Let me answer all those questions. Whew, y'all, it's been a year. And it's now 2020. I don't know when you're watching this video, but hello, this is 2020. And man, 2019 was rough. And I didn't really want to sit down and talk about how rough it had been because I'm kind of an eternal optimist and I tend to find the bright side of things and there's always a rainbow at the end of the storm. You know, I'm that person. But I have to be real. Things were rough. And I really felt like the Lord has been pressing on me to share my journey because there are probably people out there who are going through something similar or went through something similar and feel a little strange. So let me back up. So where in the world am I right now? I am in Houston, Texas. That's right. I used to be in upstate New York in Syracuse, and now I'm in Houston, Texas. How did that happen? It's the Lord's doing. And the Lord is still doing it. God is still doing it. I don't actually know what he's doing. And I just have to be transparent about that. So last year, I was just having a hard time. I was at a point in my life where I had been at my job 3 years and something wasn't feeling right. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. My strengths are more towards working with people. I'm more of a developer if we're talking about strengths finders. So I really enjoy working directly with people, helping them find their purpose. And I was working in admissions, which is an admirable job, but wasn't really where I was supposed to be. But I was in church and I was serving, and those were the places that were like giving me life. And I was just struggling, and the Lord was just speaking encouragement to me, like good things are coming around the horizon, and just keep holding on and keep serving. And I'll tell you when to go and where to go. So I'm thinking, oh, when to go, where to go. He's talking about going to a new job. A new job is going to open up. Great. Really excited. And then, long story short, I start hearing from the Lord, like, hey, it's time to pack up and go. Home to Houston. Home to Houston? Why? To do what? And the Lord was just like, go. I want you to rest. And I have been kind of an overachiever type person. I do it very casually and socially, and it looks very like, oh, she's chill about it. But I'm a high achieving person, or at least I like to try to be. And the Lord was like, no, I'm just go home and rest. I didn't know how long the rest was going to be. I didn't know if I was going to be resting and working. I didn't know if whatever. And God is so funny that he sent me through my journaling and my praying. The Lord spoke to me very clearly, like, pack up all your stuff and move to Houston. And so I did. I put all my stuff in my RAV4 and I went down to Houston, relocated everything, basically starting from scratch. I haven't lived here in 3 years, so everything was so different for me. Even though I've been visiting, I haven't lived here totally. And the first thing God does is that he has me accompany my cousin, and we go on vacation, and we go to Miami, and we go to a really great women's conference called the Pinky Promise Conference, and just started off my sabbatical with a refreshing wind of just like, you have been working your behind off. This is one of my rewards, one of my rewards of many. And so I was like, oh wow, that's so great. Like, it was nice. And then I was getting angsty, like resting. I could do it for a week or two, but then months were going by. Mind you, I'm ambitious, like I said. So I'm applying for jobs. I'm looking around to see, like, where am I supposed to be working? And God was like, just rest. And it blew my mind. I was like, how is resting an activity? It's very boring to me. And I wasn't even like sleeping all that much. I would be a little bit anxious, like, God, what's coming next? What's coming next? And so the Lord would just keep like saying, like, you're in the right place. Just keep resting. Just keep trusting me. And I have all these promises from God about all these great things that he's going to do that I have not seen yet. But somehow my mind and my spirit and my soul trust God so much that I'm like, I know it's coming. even though I haven't seen it. And then while I'm waiting, I say, okay, let me just plug into a church. So I find this phenomenal church locally, and I start connecting and going to home groups and meeting all these people. So I'm, going to a women's group for entrepreneurs because I have my own nonprofit. So I'm getting lots of feedback and still resting, but getting a lot of good advice and meeting a lot of great people. I joined this home group for Christian musicians, and I write my first worship song with other people. I've written worship songs before, but this was my first like group effort, so that was great. And then I joined this group called Freedom, and there's a curriculum called Freedom Curriculum. Church in the Highlands is where it comes from, but basically it's the idea that God wants every single person to walk in freedom. And usually we're tied up somewhere in our lives where there's an area of captivity that we haven't yet recognized. And so we go through topics like fear, anxiety, jealousy, anger, all those types of things, and really work through it. And it was like therapy, doing therapy with other people and really just being vulnerable. And one thing about me is that I know how to be vulnerable, but I love the security blanket of a title. I loved when I had a really great job, and my job was like a really fancy, like Associate Director of Recruitment and Diversity. And, I had a name tag with my name on it. And now I was in this season where I wasn't really anybody. I suppose I still have my nonprofit, so I'm the founder of a nonprofit. But for real, like I was just a regular person. And God used the season to show me that my value isn't in my title. My value is in who I am and what I bring to the table whenever people are in need, and I can pray with them, or I can encourage them, or I can listen to ideas and find really cool things from what people are saying. I can collaborate really well. So I'm just stopping to bookmark this moment, because one of the things that the Lord said when I was moving down here is that he said, let go of the version of your life that you think you're supposed to have. And I've stumbled upon a note that I wrote when I think I was 26. I'm 30 now. And the note said, when I am 30, this is the kind of life I will have. And let me say it now on camera, because I have faith that it will come to pass, but maybe not in the way I think. So here's the idea. I wake up in the morning and I go for a bike ride and shower, get ready for work. I go to work very leisurely, and my job is really creative. And my job is not me being tied to a desk. I go around working with different types of people. I'm usually brainstorming, pitching ideas, like having a lot of fun. And it's really more so like a people-oriented job. And I'm married, and I have a really fun husband who loves people and loves to laugh. And I drive a Mini Cooper. That's one of the things. So like this very hipster, crunchy granola life that I think I'm supposed to have by the time I'm 30. And my current reality is not that. And God keeps saying, like, I will give you far more than you can even imagine. Which is so weird, because I have a big imagination, and God's saying, like, trust me, I can do even more than that. And so there's a verse in the Bible that says, like, that God is your eternal reward. And many times I was thinking, the reward for living a good life is getting the things you want, the house you want, the man you want, the job you want. But like the Word of God says, God is your eternal reward. That's the reward. Knowing God and being in close communication with Him and having a relationship with your Creator. And that is enough. I'm finding that is enough. And like, I had this peace that just came over me. We did the Freedom Conference and just prayed through some of the things we've been going through in the last decade. But I had such a hard time last year because I was really entitled. And I was like, my life needs to look like this because I put in work and I serve God and like, I mean, clap on the back. I don't know. Are there brownie points in heaven? They're not. And I just kind of got real with myself. God put me on this earth to do a specific thing. And maybe I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe I'm close. And I think part of the first step is like taking the rest and saying, okay, God knows what He's doing. and he's working things out of the background. I'm applying to jobs. I'm networking. I'm volunteering. I'm doing everything that I know to do. And still a traditional 9 to 5 hasn't happened. And the really weird thing is I'm kind of happy about that. This sabbatical, I don't know how I'm going to go back to regular life. I love being able to wake up and make my own schedule and going wherever I want, whenever I want. And I really enjoy it. And I don't think I would have known to take a sabbatical if the Lord had not instructed me to do so. So I'm saying all this to say, if God has been nudging you to rest, rest in whatever way makes sense for you. Many people don't have the flexibility or the freedom to just quit their job and start from scratch. I am not tethered to a relationship or children who would be adversely affected by my choice to step away from my job. And God thankfully granted me security to the point where I could do it. So rest is so crucial. If we're going to do the things we were meant to do, our minds and our bodies and our spirits must be in a good place. And I was in a not so good place for a long time, and I was able to do it because I'm a high capacity person. I can handle a lot. But I just put my foot down at some point. Like, I don't want to live a mediocre, scraping by life anymore. I want peace and I want joy. I want to be able to laugh and enjoy this life. Tomorrow's not guaranteed by any means. So God has really been providing and like really good in this season. And I'll try to have more videos like this. I love God a lot and I want people to know God. And I have kind of hesitated making these kind of videos on this channel. I talk about God almost everywhere else. And I just thought there should be a meshing of my two worlds at some point. And this is kind of it. So I want to say that if you're not someone who is comfortable with talking about faith or about religion, if you're interested in debating whether or not God exists, this is not the channel for that. Yes, it's good vibes, it's peace, it's love, it's hope, it's joy, but it's mainly Jesus. So that will probably be appearing more on this channel. 2020, new year, same me, different approach. That's about it. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Tell me about your year. I'm curious about what you've been dragged through, what you've been freed from, what you're looking forward to in this decade, the 2020s. Like, I'm so filled with hope. I think so much great stuff is going to happen honestly, despite what's going on in the world around us. I feel like people are coming to terms with the fact that if we want to change the world, we collectively have to do something. So I've seen that individuals are like stepping up and playing their part, and we're not relying on government or large institutions to do it. I'm seeing that a few good people who are dedicated to change, they can do great things. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.